Our guy Brian Westbrook joining us now. Brian, are you surprised to hear this about a Bill Belichick coached team, attitude and effort?
You know, Jenna, I'm not really that surprised. And there's a couple of different reasons. The number one reason, this doesn't look like or feel like a Bill Belichick type of team. When I think of Bill Belichick types of teams, I'm talking about a disciplined team, a team that is multiple on offense, defense, and special teams. They can do a lot of different things. There are also a core group of guys on those teams that have been passed along through the years, and they keep that consistent. The other big factor, of course, Tom Brady not being there. And I'm not talking about Tom Brady on the field. We know on the field he's the GOAT. But I'm talking about Tom Brady during the week, upholding the Patriots standard. I'm talking about Tom Brady on game day, yelling at people on the sideline. We haven't seen that. They're getting blown out in these last few games. And I'm not seeing anybody getting in anyone's face on the sideline, no one yelling, no one screaming. And then lastly, I'm talking about the core group of guys. Just think about it. There were 8 opt-outs for COVID. Marcus Cannon, Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, Matt Lacoste. Yeah. I mean, these are Brandon Bowden. These are a core group of guys that hold together the special team, hold together the defense. These are the guys that uphold that standard when Tom Brady's not around. They're not there anymore. So, of course, this doesn't seem like a Bill Belichick type of team to me. He's going to have to put the pieces back together in order to get a better effort from this football team.
Yeah, B, I went back to my notes, back to the Denver game. And there was one point that stood out, and it said sloppy. And the reason why I wrote sloppy is because this was the first time I ever saw a Bill Belichick team, a Patriots team, play this bad in so many different areas. I spent most of my career in the AFC, B. And when I tell you, man, when you turn on film and you see the special teams mistakes, when have you ever seen a special team mistake from Bill Belichick-led team? You've never seen that. Then you look at pass pro. I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, but you've never seen just free rushers at the quarterback. I don't know if it's Josh McDaniels. I don't know if it's Cam Newton, but setting that protection hasn't been done right the last 2 games. This guy is running for his life, and it could be McDaniels, it could be him. And then you also look at just the simple mistakes when it comes to not chasing down a DB after he picks the ball off, Julian Edelman. And Wiles, if you want to say it, Hall of Famer Julian Edelman. And I think Slater may be talking to him when he talks about attitude and effort. There's a couple picks where he doesn't do anything. The ball's intercepted. Julian Edelman stands there. He doesn't chase him down. He pouts. That can't happen. That attitude needs to change. It needs to change. It needs to start with Julian Edelman. He is that leader. You can't do this.
Look, we're totally fine. This would be a big story for another team. But when the Patriots win a game, Bill Belichick gets up there and rips the team. And when we lose a game, it's just open season. You can say anything you want. Here's the quote from Belichick, which is much worse than Matthew Slater's quote. He said, "We didn't perform well enough in any area. Offense, defense, special teams, running, passing, defending the run, defending the pass, ball security, tackling, blocking. None of it was good enough. Maybe I left something out." So, Nick, it doesn't concern me at all. It's sort of the Patriot way that you can say anything you want after a loss. There's 2 things you can say anything you want, and you can do anything you want to the Microsoft Surface. You can pick it up, you can smash it, you can drop kick it out across the field. It's of no concern. You can do anything you want, and that's question. Just, it sort of galvanizes the team.
So, no, that's serious. Like, listen. That's a serious question, right? Like, when have we ever seen Bill Belichick lead a loser? And I'm not talking about record. I'm talking about attitude.
Brandon,
you can do whatever you want when you win. It 100%. When you're winning,
Brandon,
the stuff that Julian Edelman is doing.
I think you just opened a door to what Matthew Slater's talking about here, because what we have heard from Coach Mangini, from former players, from anybody, what have we heard about New England? It's not fun. It's incredibly hard. It is different than everywhere else. But what is the end result of that? You're in the playoffs every year. Yep. You're winning. You never get humiliated on the football field. So for guys who have been there, they know the juice is worth the squeeze. Now let's look at this team. Young guys haven't been part of the winning. New players obviously don't know anything about the long-term Patriot way. And guys who have been there a long time have never dealt with this. All that hard work, all that attention to detail, all those brutal practices have paid off in, well, we win 11 or 12 games every year. We're never underdogs.
Well,
and when we lose, it's close.
Well, think about this. It's even Julian Edelman's attitude, right? When he usually does that, but they still win the game. Or he'll do that. Tom Brady do that, and they still win 12 games that year. But when you're losing and you're a loser, okay, you can't do these things because of what you said. There are rookies there. There's new guys there that don't know the Patriot way. They've never seen it. So now the culture begins to shift, and guys start acting like that. Right. So the question now is, can Bill Belichick lead a loser? The last time he had a losing season was 2000. That's 20 years ago. Right. So these are multi-million-dollar athletes, football players, okay, and they have egos as well. So all of that, let's take a lap, let's do this when it's December and it snows on the ground and it's cold. You start seeing guys talk back. You start seeing guys do what they want to do. We might have a culture issue in New England, Wilds.
Do you learn to lead a loser, or do you pivot? Or do you pivot and start from scratch? There's a report out of New England, which has turned a few heads this week. Wait, Wilds, that the Patriots are considering trading Defensive Player of the Year Stephon Gilmore before next week's trade deadline. So, Brian, let me start with you because I can't believe I'm asking this, but should the Patriots actually tank this season, or is it still salvageable?
Well, I never believed that the Patriots will tank, and I still do believe that is salvageable. And here's the reason why. I think the Bills, who are 3-0 in the division, I'm just not getting that strong feeling from them. The Patriots are 1-0 in the division. They have an upcoming game against the Bills. I still think they have an opportunity to win this division, even with all the problems that we're talking about, even with all the issues that we're talking about. I still think they have an opportunity to win this division because I don't know how strong the Bills are at this point in the season.
Correct. Well, so Brian, you nailed it. And by the way, you said the Bills are 3-0 in the division. Mike McCarthy should call up the Bills organization and let them know you get to 4 wins in the division, you usually win it. Even bigger game for the Bills this week. And I don't know if they had that advanced analytics. But this Wilds, this weekend is as big of a regular season game as you guys have played in a very long time. If you win, and I think you will, even though you're 4-point dogs, then I believe you guys just stay the course. If you lose, and all of a sudden the Bills have the tiebreaker, the Bills are 3 games clear of you, it is looking bad, then I do think Bill Belichick calls up, I don't know, Steve Keim in Arizona, says, hey, Steve, got a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. You just lost Chandler Jones, coming off a great win. You don't love Dre Kirkpatrick as your second corner? Come on. But you got Patrick Peterson over there. You want to pair him up with Stephon Gilmore, Brandon? You want to have 2 number 1 corners on that team? I think Gilmore, who is on a very reasonable contract for next season, would get you a first-round pick. He is that level of player. No. I wouldn't do it, Brandon, if you beat the Bills. You beat the Bills, you know you win the next week because you have the Jets. You're 4-4 and you're right there. But if you fall to 2-5, if you lose 4 in a row, then I do think you consider trading Stephon Gilmore, Brandon.
No, I just think it's funny that we're talking about the Patriots and we're also talking about them tanking. I mean, it's always been the Patriots, a handful of teams here, the Saints, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, a couple teams may entertain that tier, Nick, and then it's everyone else. And for the very first time, we're seeing a humanized New England Patriot team. I don't believe that they're going to tank. I don't believe that they're going to just throw in the towel because they still have a chance to make it to the playoffs. So Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, and even Cam Newton, they know they're one good game away from being right in it. Just a couple weeks ago, they were right there. We were talking about how awesome of a team they are. So, yes, they need to have a pass catcher. They need to protect Cam. Cam needs to protect himself. But if Cam has one good game, now things change, and it's a totally different topic.
That's right. Well, you know, they've had discussions about trading Stephon Gilmore. Like, I've had discussions about moving to Barcelona. It's not going to happen, but of course, like, wow, that would be interesting, huh? Eat lunch at 4 o'clock, but it's not going to happen. But to everyone's surprise, I do think that we should tank, but it's Master P's tank, the gold tank, coming down $9.95, because the answer to all these questions are yes. Are we better than the Jets? Yes. Are we better than the rookie Dolphins? Yes. Does anybody want to see us in the playoffs as we straggle in at 9-7? No. Even though I said it was yes, I meant, are we dangerous in the playoffs? Yes. So look, we have to win this game, but even if we lose, I'm back. I've got my swagger back, my Patriots swagger back. Even if we lose, the Bills have the 3rd toughest schedule, and we have to play them again in December. They have to play the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Steelers, the Cardinals, the Chiefs, which are okay, and then us again. Yeah. So I feel okay even if we lose this game. I'm not tanking unless it's a gold-plated tank that I'm driving.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.